pteridophytes. These plants are generally used as ornamental plants. They are simply called as vascular cryptogams. Cryptogams is a term used for all those plants which cannot produce colors. So they are all non-flowering plants. All the non-flowering plants, all the plants that belong to Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta, they are all non-flowering plants. Among these non-flowering plants, only pteridophytes have vascular bundle, that is, xylem and phloem is present only in pteridophytes. That is the reason they are called as vascular cryptogams. They can be used as ornamental plants. They can be used as ornamental plants, or they are used as medicinal plants, or they are also used as soil binders. Like in any other plant, the life cycle of these plants is also divided into two stages. First one is gametophytes, and second one is sporophytes. In case of Thallophyta and Bryophyta, we saw that gametophyte is the most dominant stage. But in case of pteridophytes, sporophyte stage is dominant over the gametophyte stage. In case of pteridophytes, sporophyte is dominant over the gametophyte stage. Okay? Right? Once we'll see the life cycle of this pteridophytes. It is almost similar to the life cycle of bryophytes. The life cycle of pteridophytes is almost similar to the life cycle of bryophytes. First, gametophyte produces antheridium and archegonium. Depending upon the type of plants, if male and female plants are different, these two are present on separate plants. If if the plant is a bisexual plant, then both of them are present on the same plants. Antheridium is the male part. Archegonium is a female part. This is male part. This is female part. And male part produces antherozoids. These are the gametes that are produced by antheridium. Both of them fuse together inside the female part. The gametes that are produced from female, these are generally called as eggs. These gametes are generally called as eggs. Female gametes are called as eggs. Both of them fuse together to form zygotes. Both of them fuse together to form zygotes. This zygote is formed in the female. Why? Because antherozoids have flagella. They swim in water, they reach the female gamete and fusion occurs in the female part. After this, sporophyte is produced from this. This sporophyte stage has leaves, roots, stem, and these are not false, they are all true leaves, true roots, true stem. Why? Because they have vascular bundle, and the phase time period for which sporophyte stage is there is long compared to gametophyte stage. This sporophyte stage produces strobili or sorus, which release spores. These spores develop to form gametophytes. Is it clear, children? So from here to gametophyte is formed. From here to here. This upper one is a gametophyte stage, and this lower all parts from zygote, sporophyte, strobili formation, spore formation, these are sporophyte stage of the life cycle. This is longer one compared to gametophyte. In case of pteridophytes, gametophyte is a simple thallus-like structure called prothallus. Okay, simple thallus-like structure called as prothallus. From this, these all parts are developed. Okay. So, sometimes, always strobili is not formed. What is strobili and sorus? We'll try to understand. All the plants do not produce strobili. For example, if you take Equistinum, is a type of pteridophyte which produces root-like structures. After that, stem-like structure. On the stem-like structure, leaf-like structures are formed at different nodal regions, and finally a bunch, small fruit bearing body will develop, which is almost conical in structure. So that is why this is also called as cones. You can call it cone, you can call it strobili. Inside this, the spores are produced. When it bursts open, the spurs will release out and give rise to new gametophytes. But all the plants do not produce like this. There are some plants, some of the pteridophytes produce the leaves. You take, for example, fern leaves. Ferns, the leaves of ferns are somewhat larger, and you can see below these leaves there are small fruit bearing bodies. These fruit bearing bodies are called as sorus. Inside this sorus, each sorus there are so many spores. When it is burst open, it releases the spores. So this leaf is having spores, so that is why it is called as sporophyll. Sporophyll is a spore bearing leaf. Spore bearing leaf. Sometimes these spore bearing leaves are small, as in the case of Selaginella. The leaves are small and called as microphylls, and if the leaves are large, as in case of ferns, it is called as macrophylls. Okay, so in these both cases, there is spore formation in the leaves. Some plants, some of the pteridophytes like Equistinum produces strobili. So this body of these plants is called as sporophyte, and that is long living. One of the major advantage of these plants is they can live in sandy soils also. They prefer to live in cool, damp, shady places, but they can survive in sandy soil also. That is about the life cycle of pteridophytes. Next, we'll discuss about gymnosperms and angiosperms. Gymnosperms and angiosperms. Gymnosperms and angiosperms are called as phanerogams. Phanerogams are those plants, it is a term given for those plants which can produce flowers. So, flowering plants, all the flowering plants are called as gymnosperms. But the difference between gymnosperms and angiosperms is gymno is naked, sperm is seed. Angio means capsule, sperm means seed. If the fruits are present inside the covering, like you take any seeds, watermelon seeds, guava seeds, mango seeds, all these seeds are inside the fruit. But in case of certain cycas, pinus, this pinus plant, cycas plant has fruits which are having small structures like this and seeds are present in this region. They are open. Okay. When it is newly formed, these structures are very close. When the fruiting body is newly formed, the structures will be very close like this. Here the seed is there. Gradually it will open up like this. Okay. So this type of plants in which the seeds are not covered by any sheath, they are not inside the fruits, they are open, they are naked. So that is why they are called as gymnosperms. Okay. Next, angiosperms are all the plants which are having their seeds inside the fruit, and angiosperms are again divided into monocots and dicots. What is the difference between monocot and dicot? Did you ever observe a bean seed? Bean seed has a seed coat. If you remove that seed coat, you will see that there are two seed leaves like this. Each one is called as a cotyledon. Each one is called as a cotyledon. But if you observe a maize seed, you will see there is a single cotyledon. This is not this is cotyledon. This is embryo. This has capacity to develop into new what do you say, new plants. This is cotyledon. Cotyledon is a small part inside the leaf which is helpful in new leaf formation. When you sow the seeds into the soil, at that time no leaves, but plant needs nutrients to develop to form newer leaves. Till the few leaf stage, which is called as seedling, is formed, it requires nutrients. Those nutrients are obtained from cotyledons. Okay. So for this plants also you can see there is a small embryo here which sprouts out. This sprouting newly formed sprouts will not have any leaves till it forms 2 or 3 leaves, which is called as seedlings. These cotyledons will supply all the nutrients required by that small plant. That is the use of cotyledons. Okay. You take even rice seed. Rice seed has a single cotyledon. So this type you can simply say that all the cereals are monocots, all the pulses are dicots. Red gram, green gram, yellow gram, all these, black gram, pea seeds, beans, all these are example for pulses which have dicots. You take all the millets, sorghum, finger millet, ragi, wheat, jowar, bajra, all these are cereals, they are monocots. Okay. Simply by seeing the plant also you can understand whether it is monocot or dicot. If it is a grass plant, it is monocot. If it is not a grass plant, it is a dicot. Okay. You see rice crop, did you ever observe the paddy crop? It is grass plant. Wheat crop is a grass plant. Maize crop, grass plant. So if it is a grass plant, it is monocot. If it is not a grass plant, then it is a dicot. Okay, so we'll see, understand the difference in life cycle of angiosperm and gymnosperm. You understand the life cycle of angiosperm, it will be very simple further to understand gymnosperm. So first we'll see how the reproduction occurs inside angiosperms. In life cycle of angiosperms is also divided into two stages, sporophyte and gametophyte. Gametophyte is restricted to few cells that live on the sporophyte. The remaining part of the plant, leaves, stem, roots, all these are sporophytes. And male and female gametophytes are restricted to few cells in flowers. Few cells in flowers are forming male and female gametophytes. We'll understand this. To understand this, we'll understand the structure of a flower. Flower has petals and sepals. These are sepals, green color structures which hold the flowers. They are also called as calyx. These are petals. They are also called as corolla. Inside the flower, these are not necessary parts. They are just to attract the insects for pollination. That's all. There is no other use. The inner part of flower has a structure like this. This is a female part. Female part is also called as gynoecium. Gynoecium is also called as pistil. It is also called as carpel. These are just other names of the same part. What does it have? The topmost part is called as stigma. This long filament like structure is called as style, and this round part at the end is called as ovary. Inside this ovary there are small future seeds called as ovules. This ovule is a female gametophyte. So in this ovule we have female gametophytes. See how much small gametophytes. Next, let us discuss the male part of the flower. Male part of the flower, these all parts that arise from here are called as male parts of the flower. Male part is also called as androecium. Androecium is also called as stamen. It consists of, what are the parts that are present in the male part? This part is called as anther, and this stalk-like structure is called as filament. Okay. Over this anther, there are pollen grains. This pollen grains has a gametophyte. So very small gametophyte. Very small gametophyte which is restricted to few cells. few cell stage. Okay, it's not a complete plant. It's a few cell stage that lives on the sporophyte plants. Okay, so how the fertilization occurs inside this? When pollen grains fall, when pollen grains fall on the stigma, we can see the stigma. It is usually 1 to 2 millimeter in length. You can easily, width of that is 1 to 2 millimeters. You can easily see with your naked eye. But pollen grains are microscopic. They are not visible to our naked eye. So these particles, when they fall on the stigma, how many seeds are there? Those many pollen tubes will develop, and each tube will reach one ovule. There will be a fusion of gametes between the cells of pollen grain and the cells of ovule, and fertilization occurs. As a result of this, the ovules are converted into seed-like structure, seeds, and ovary is finally forming fruits. Okay, this is how fertilization occurs in a flower. If it is a what do you say, gymnosperm, this ovary is not present. Instead of, there is a stalk-like structure in the center, and there are small projections like this, and seeds are present here. So pollen tubes directly fuse with these ovules, and exchange of genetic material occurs. So fertilization occurs. So that is the small difference between gymnosperms and angiosperms. Both gymnosperms and angiosperms are flowering plants. Only difference is ovary is not present in case of gymnosperms. Instead, there is a slightly different structure. Okay. So this part finally develops into fruit, and these ovules develop into seed, even in the case of gymnosperms. With this, we have completed the life cycles of different plants. So till now we have completed the 4 kingdoms of Whittaker's classification. What are the 4 kingdoms that we have completed? Monera completed, Protista completed, Fungi completed, and Plantae completed. Now next class we will be discussing about Animalia also.